All right, it is Monday. It is a victory Monday. If you're a Lions fan, you made your way back up from Tampa. Quite a Lions crowd in there, huh, Tim?
Well, I wasn't in Tampa.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Could be warmer.
Could be warmer, but you got some good candy
It's
from.
Michigan State week. That's the
is.
lead. Michigan State week.
Who was leading up to that?
I like what Harbaugh says. It's his first good cheap shot of the week.
From this
Harbaugh.
afternoon's?
No, he says it all the time. Excuse me, I got to finish his chocolate bar.
She got a new stock of chocolate
He
in.
says,
so.
"Isn't this an exciting time to be a football fan in Michigan?"
Is it?
Just a subtle cheap shot.
Is it? Crowd? Nobody? Silence in the newsroom for that one.
It's a good line.
It is. It is. But it is rivalry week. You can catch the Michigan State game right here on WILX on Saturday night as well.
Channel 10.
7:30 kickoff. The first time they kicked off in the dark at Michigan
They
State.
finished in the dark, and
They
they played
finished.
in the dark in Ann Arbor. They did last year.
Yep.
You wonder which team at the end of the game will be in the dark. Well, I don't know.
That. I like that. We're gonna use somebody use that as a headline.
That's why I get paid a lot for this segment.
So much. We just pay you and Mr. Goodbar for this segment, to be honest. But we're looking at the game coming up on Saturday. Quite a tale of two completely different games for both of those teams over the weekend.
Yes, it was. In fact, I was at the big house in Ann Arbor. There
Okay.
were Wolverines everywhere.
There usually are,
Just
yes.
Wolverines everywhere.
They
I hadn't
live-
been
they live
in a-
there.
Hadn't been there in a few years, so I got invited to sit with the beautiful people.
Oh, that was nice.
I'll tell you what, there are a lot of them. They have every kind of maize and blue apparel known to mankind. And they're young, old, loud, quiet, male, female,
So-
adolescent, teenager. They're everywhere. They're
So-
like locusts for about 10 miles around that place. They're just Wolverines everywhere. Boy, they love their blue. I looked at that stadium from afar, and I looked back at that whole scene, and I said, why would Harbaugh ever want to leave this? The guy is like Julius Caesar.
Why
in
would
Rome.
anybody want to leave?
Well, with his setup, I mean, his setup is, I think he basically could tell them he wants $1 billion a year, and they may have to give it to him. They're talking
That's a
about
lot.
a lifetime contract for him. That's on the table now.
Lifetime contract. What would that entail?
Just till he doesn't want to coach anymore.
So no questions asked. You get this
Well,
until
I
you're
mean,
done.
I'm sure he's going to have a few
No end
restrictions
date.
like Tucker had. You have to behave yourself. I'm sure that'll be in there. But my guess is for that kind of a deal, he probably would. I don't know if he'll sign it. Look, he's got.
When's the last time a
he's got the
contract like that
world by the-
happened?
Pardon?
When's the last time a contract like that happened in college football?
Well, when it says lifetime, it means that you just tell us when you want to go.
Okay.
And I don't know what he wants to do. I thought to myself, why would he want to leave this? They're going to pay him more than the NFL. He's going to have players falling in out of the sky in there forever. Why would he ever? I don't know that he does want to leave it. That's just speculation. But if I were him, I'd stay right where he is. He's not going to go 12-0 every year. Nobody does. But I think he's got a pretty good deal there.
So you were at the game where Michigan defeated Indiana 52-7.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did watching that game stop being fun?
When they ran out of ice cream at the concession stand in the suite.
Can only imagine whose fault that was.
We were out of hot dogs. We were out of cider. We were out of, as soon as the food started up, because I thought that's when the game turned, and we left.
But on the other side, Michigan State was at Rutgers, and that was a very close
So
game.
People I was with said, come on, it's 38-7, it's raining, let's get out of here, beat the traffic, we'll go back to our place in Ann Arbor and watch the fourth quarter of the State game. And I said, no, we don't need to rush. It's 24-6, State's leading the fourth quarter. They blew these guys out. I told you, Rutgers is terrible. So we're going home to watch a Washington-Oregon game.
Okay, another great
So we
game.
get in the living room in Ann Arbor, and I got that thing right there, and we tripped over the Big Ten Network. And I said, wait a minute. I think I just saw it said 27-25 Rutgers. That's impossible. So we go back to it, and State's got the ball with 7 minutes to go, and I said, well, we got to stay on it.
Yeah,
There's
too.
7 minutes left. Rutgers is terrible. They can't throw it. They'll just run it in the rain. They'll punt. State will go back down. You can see State winning this thing 30-20, whatever. And they ran 12 runs right up the middle, got 3 or 4 first downs. Game end. State never got the ball back. Bring on the blue.
Well,
Bring on the blue.
we do have Zach
Apparently
watching.
State got caught looking ahead to Michigan.
Zach is joining us on Facebook Live saying, well, State is 2-1 the last 3 games versus Michigan.
You know what?
Can they ride that going into this Saturday?
Ask him that. What does he think?
What do you think, Zach?
What do you think? Everybody can have an opinion. That's the beautiful thing about it in advance. That's why they have betting services. As much as an expert as you are,
I'm not.
Like if you think it's way overblown that Michigan shouldn't be a 24-point favorite, then go take advantage of somebody's stupidity, put a bet down on State for whatever you want for get the 24, and then laugh at them all the way to the bank. If you think they're wrong, that's why they call it gambling.
So what do the Spartans have to do, learning from the Rutgers game, going into the Michigan game at home, the rivalry game? I'm sure some of the tension from last year is still there. We all know what happened last year in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, the problem is I've only got a smart aleck remark, which is part of my MO.
Which is allowed on the
Find
digital
20
show.
new players. So to answer they're going to need Michigan to help them.
Okay.
And by like State helped Rutgers. I mean, that's how Rutgers won. State helped them. Now, if Michigan plays against State like State played against Rutgers, well, maybe then the thing. What's more interesting to me is not the final score. What's more interesting to me is at halftime on a night game, depending on the score, how many people will be left in the stadium and what percentage of those people will be wearing maize and blue? I don't know that.
Also, the first time these two teams have met while alcohol is allowed to be served at a game. Because that just started.
Throw that into the mix.
It's always a factor.
Throw that into the
Unfortunately. It is.
Michigan fans, but if I'm a Michigan fan, what I tell them, I don't want to buy your cheap beer and wine. I want champagne. We're ranked number 2 and moving up.
Been number 2 for a while, though. The top 2 has not moved. What are your thoughts on that, actually?
They're better off not being number 1. It takes the target a little bit off their back. I don't know if there should be 1 or should be 5. They haven't played anybody.
Right.
The argument against them, and then after State they get a bye week, then they play Purdue. The Little Sisters of the Poor would give them a harder game. The last 3 is their season. They're at Penn State, at Maryland, who's terrible, but they're there, and then Ohio State. They got 2 games they got to play. They're either going to finish one of 3 records, 12-0, 11-1, or 10-2. That's what they're going to finish in the regular season.
What about the coaching search? Are they even worried about that at this point? I mean, it still has to be on your mind, but at what point do you really start focusing on it? Because at what point can the candidates start focusing?
I'm sure right now that's clearly, that's clear. They have a headhunter.
Okay.
And what they come back with, when you're in the season, you can't be talking to other coaches about another job. You can talk to their agents. You can talk to their people to see if there might be some interest. Some of that clearly must be going on. But for anybody around here to tell you that they got a big inside scoop as to who the coach is going to be, anybody can guess.
Okay.
My mother can guess, you can guess, anybody can guess. In terms of that being a done deal anywhere, it's the beauty of the internet. No accountability required.
Well, sticking with football, the Lions went into Tampa Bay with a crowd that looked similar to a home crowd with the amount of blue that was in there.
My wife flew down to Florida last week. She was on the Thursday morning Allegiant flight, Flint, St. Petersburg, and she texted me after I dropped her off. She said half this flight is Detroit Lions fans. I don't know how they get the tickets for these games. Getting tickets on the road in the NFL is tough.
But
and boy, it's got to be expensive too.
It is cheaper to get a game ticket to another game than it is to get a ticket at Ford Field. The game ticket itself is cheaper.
Either way.
Several of us in the newsroom have looked at it. That's why I know.
The NFL's not cheap.
Plus, you have to remember, a lot of people from Michigan do go down to Florida.
But they could be
around this time of year.
Yeah, they could be one-way flights down there. Well, that was a Thursday flight for a Sunday game. Mm-hmm. Okay, so worked out pretty well.
What were your takeaways from the Lions Tampa Bay game, actually?
2 names. Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. There's a 2-touchdown difference right there. That's why Mayfield didn't make it in Cleveland. And the Lions have the best receiver in football.
They're-
And I give Goff a lot of credit, which he deserves, but he does have some talent to throw to. That's Brown.
difference.
I don't know how they found him, but he's pretty good. You got to keep him healthy though, because he gets injured.
He has been
The way
injured
he
already
play-
this year.
The way he plays, he gets injured.
Yes. Lions are actually tied for the best record in the league at 5-1. There's several teams that are 5-1, but the
What
Lions
are
are
you
one
going
of
to be like
them.
if they play in the Super Bowl? You're going to need about 6 Valium every day leading into the game.
I'm not saying anything on that.
I know how you guys are. I mean, life's a downer, 364 days a year. That's your one shot. You'll be wired. Your guys are already wired in here.
Some of us are kind of wired.
Like
yes.
Jim Harbaugh says, he's right. It's an exciting time to be a football fan in Michigan. That's what he says. He says it all
Subjective,
the time.
but
It's a great shot.
some of us are pretty happy about it right now.
What are you talking about? It is exciting. We're winning.
It
The
is.
Lions winning. It's exciting. That's what he
It's
said.
exciting to see people who were not partial to the Lions say these are not the same old Lions. That is what I like.
Well,
I like other people recognizing
They
it.
got a hard game Sunday, let me tell you. That game Sunday, they're not playing Baker Mayfield Sunday.
No, they are playing Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who are leading the AFC North, but they are 4-2, while the Lions are 5-1. Take that for
Have at it.
what you will. Let's see. Other teams from Detroit that beat Tampa Bay over the weekend include the Red Wings. They kicked off their season. Did you watch any of the?
Hockey's way too early. We haven't even got through baseball yet. Baseball, hockey's
technically
way
no.
too early. Hockey shouldn't. My definition of hockey season, as soon as I see that first snowflake fall.
That could be coming soon. Did you watch Darren's report?
No, I did not. It's way too. Although I will tell you this: the Columbus Blue Jackets are horrendous. But that Fantilli from Michigan plays for him, so I'd be anxious to see as a rookie how he'll. And that's a good team for him to be. He can
It is.
play. 'Cause
He
they're
already got
terrible.
his first point in his first game, actually.
He'll be their leading scorer. I mean, they're horrible.
You know they're calling them the Go Blue Jackets, right? Because there's so many Michigan
There
players
are
on there.
Michigan guys on that, yeah. Well, let's see. You're a Michigander, boy. It must be an exciting time for you to follow football, man. Oh, man.
Well, you mentioned baseball, of course.
What about these other stiffs in here in the newsroom who are Michigan State fans? Like, do they hide under the table or whatever? I mean, where are they?
Nobody is paying
they're
attention.
waiting for basketball season.
We are waiting for basketball
and then all the
season.
Michigan people can hide under the table, and then the green and white
True.
guys will come out.
The
Basketball school.
AP poll.
Football's just
AP poll came out today.
I see they're fourth, but you know
Michigan
what?
State is
They're
ranked
3 and
fourth.
3. They're not even picked to win the Big Ten. Purdue is. I told Izzo, it's the best thing I've ever. You don't want to be picked first, and you don't want to be picked to win the Big Ten. You want to be coming up from the rear, which he's
Good point.
not in the rear. Don't worry, they'll be good. By the way, they got an open practice before the Michigan football game Saturday at 2:00 in the Breslin, no admission charge. So your whole day's not a waste. You can go watch the basketball team practice.
Hey.
No admission before the football game, and you don't even have to go to the football game if you don't want to. You go watch it right here.
There you go. Go to the open practice, then turn on your TV to WILX
Then
to watch the
after
football
the
game.
game's one-sided by 7:45, then you can go tune to something else or whatever. I gotta go help him. These guys are behind.
Two things really quick. Former Tiger Max Scherzer starting for the Rangers tonight in Game 3 against the Houston Astros, and
Game 2, he's going in Game 3 tomorrow or Thursday or whatever.
that's what I meant. What were your thoughts on our game of the week last Friday?
Oh, Sexton.
Sexton.
Portland's really good. Really good.
Okay.
Portland's really good.
And what is coming up that you're going to go help Fred and birthday boy Joey Ellis on?
Harlan, you get Harbs and Harlan. You get all the cheap shot one-liners.
We're going to talk about. Is that how we're calling them? Harbs and Harlan?
Non-sarcastic commentary. You get. I love Harbaugh's comment. It's an exciting time to be a football fan in Michigan. I'm just the messenger.
We
Don't
did
blame
stream
me.
that earlier today, so you can catch that on our website, WILX.com, all of our streaming platforms. Fred's going to head back into the sports office with Fred Human and birthday boy Joey Ellis to bring you the latest. We'll see you guys a little bit later. Thank you, Tim.
All right. Don't screw it up.